We're recording. We got video. Sweet. We got audio. Sweet.
We got video. Sweet.
Sweet.
Check.
Check.
Wait.
Sweet. All right, here we go. I'll do a little countdown and we're off in 3, 2, 1.
You can't kill what you can't catch. Spy Hunter, prepare to be hunted. Rated 2.
Wow.
Yeah, was that some Limp Biscuit in there? What was that?
I don't know what that was. The biscuit was limp. Greetings, hello, and welcome to Play Retro. Yes, that's right. This is Play Retro, and I'm one of your hosts, Scott Johnson. And if you don't mind, please drive right up into my truck trailer, Knight Rider style, and I'll fix your damage and send you back on your way to shoot bad guys. Or bad spies, if you will.
Oh.
You know, spies have to go hunt. And since you are technically a spy hunter, go hunt.
Go hunt. And I'm your other host, Brian Dunaway. And hold on a second while I grab my Peter Gunn and get ready to be dropped off in my spy car from the back of an 18-wheeler, which Scott's driving apparently, onto the side of the road like some kind of Michael Knight with a gear shift with 2 speeds, low for slow and high for die. Now, eat my rubber. Gonna burn some dust here. No? Scratch that. Reverse it.
If it isn't already familiar, what we're going to be talking about today, then I'm happy to report we're going to be talking about Spy Hunter, one of Brian and I's favorite arcade games from way back in the day.
Much.
Oh, that was right. Hold on. No, that's not right.
Peter Gunn.
No, that's it. Peter Gunn. That's the one. Anyway, if you never played it, you may want to after we discuss it today. And if you've never played 2, well, you may never want to.
Poo.
It was poo. 2 was poo. And we'll talk about 2 here in a minute. Before we get into it, though, let's dive into a couple of little things that happened during the week. I found the perfect new game, not an old game, but a new game to make you feel like you're playing a great old game. All right?
The great old game, that's not to be confused with good old game, right?
No, great old games is still GOG, but don't get confused.
Right,
Don't only accept.
It's like it's like the GoBots of the Transformers.
Yes, they're like the GoBots, except much better than the GoBots. I can promise you that.
Right. I don't know. Scooter's pretty cool. Go ahead.
Oh my gosh, I don't even know names of GoBots.
You don't know Scooter?
No, because I was adamantly opposed to those guys. They were coming in at being posers. Forget it.
Scooter.
F off to that. Scooter. What is Scooter? Is he like a little scooter? Was he like a?
He's a Scooter. He was the companion. He's the bumblebee of the GoBots.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, you got your bumblebee who's all like, let me translate what the big bots are saying for you.
Yeah.
Same thing. Yeah.
It kind of.
I would watch a Scooter movie.
I would not. I would be so annoyed that it even happened. I mean, I kind of like that it existed in a way so that I could make fun of it, but I don't have any. I got no love for the GoBots, dude. None.
Well, I've said before, and I'll say it again. The further I get away from things, and the more annoyed I was at the time that there was 2 of something. Like I couldn't believe they had Blue Thunder when they had Airwolf. I'm like, come on, Blue Thunder, we don't want none of that crap. But now looking back, I'm like, I wish we had a 3rd helicopter series, or a 4th one. So I could look back and explore all of them.
Didn't Blue Thunder precede? I think Blue Thunder preceded.
Well, Blue Thunder was a movie.
Right.
And Airwolf was just TV show.
There was also a Blue Thunder
and then Blue
TV
Thunder
show.
saw was right. Blue Thunder saw and said, "Hey, look at that Airwolf money they're making." And so they're like, "We got a story."
Yeah, so you go Blue Thunder movie, pretty successful, does okay. Then you go Airwolf TV show, and then the Blue Thunder people are like, "We can do that." I mean,
they all stole their stuff from Riptide, so what does it matter?
Yeah, Riptide's the beginning of all things, the Alpha
Riptide
and the
is
Omega.
The center.
Well, anyways, this is what I was saying was, okay, so do you remember back in the day, something Taz said in the chat, I just got to mention it. He says, oh no, the Film Sack intros are invading Play Retro. They've been doing that since Joust, like 2 years ago.
Yeah, right. But I will say they're getting a little longer, which I enjoy.
Yeah,
I hope
they're fun.
You do too.
Oh, I totally
They're so much
them.
fun.
They're great to make. They're great to say. They're good to hear.
All we need now is Ibbot to come on and sing a parody song.
DJ says the best part of GoBots, which is a funny thing to even hear in my head, the best part of GoBots was that they were the same size as Hot Wheels, made more value or made more play value or more play value, I guess. Oh, because you could buy more of them, I guess, is the deal. And they were
that in the So yeah.
Okay.
Plus, Transformers. You had to transform them.
Yeah,
it's a lot of
that's
work.
true. That is a lot of work.
That was half the job.
It's half the
like
battle.
you've got a good storyline going on in your head. You're like, oh no, here comes my Decepticon versus my and you're like, oh wait, I can't fight yet because I got to transform him.
Yeah.
Wait, no. How do you open this thing? Wait.
Yeah, and GoBots would just go wheat, and you were done. They were
there was one flip.
Yeah.
It's like my head's in my hood. Now my head is popped up.
Yeah. Transformers were
like
wheat, and GoBots were wheat. That's how it worked.
It was like working a freaking Rubik's Cube with those Transformers, man.
Yeah, it was. There were some of them that were pretty jacked. They were hard to work with.
Yeah.
Anyway, so back to this game. Brian, do you remember playing, we haven't talked about it on the show as a topic, but they made a bunch of Wario games, starting with the Game Boy, the original Game Boy.
Yes.
Wario World? No.
I think WarioWare?
No, WarioWare is later. That's DS and forward.
Later, yes.
Or not DS, GBA and forward. But what the Game Boy games were called?
Wario Brothers.
No, shit. I gotta find it now. Wario Game Boy. All right. It was
Game
called List of Wario games. Here we go. Super Wario Land.
There we go. That's right. Super Wario. That's right.
Is that right? Hold on. There was a Mario Land.
That sounds right.
Hold on. Wario games. Game Boy, 7th generation. Wario Land, but they were okay. Here's why it was. It's Wario is the antagonist for Super Mario Land 2, 6 golden coins, and Wario Land : Super Mario Land 3 is the other one he was in. There was also
subcolon my game.
There was also they were just so afraid not to have Mario's name in there. It's freaking weird.
Yeah. No one will get it.
Yeah. Anyway, I love those games because they had a really different spin on like how you traversed around in the levels and breaking through walls.
See, Wario's like the GoBots of the Mario world.
Sort of, except he's great on his own. He's just great. Freaking Mario rules, dude. He's gonna win. Okay, he's gonna win.
He's gonna win. But Waluigi is crap. Everybody agree with that, right?
That guy.
Luigi's
sucks.
Awesome. Waluigi,
no, he's the worst. You see him in a crowded market, turn the other way. Get out of there. Get as far away from Wario as you can. Do not touch that W. Or not Wario, Luigi. Or Waluigi. It's still a W. There you
Waluigi. It's still a W, right.
Anyway,
which makes no sense to me.
These games were great. They were very innovative. I think the WarioWare stuff was amazing too, but they quit making these platformer games that Wario was in after a while. And it's a real bummer because they had really fun ways of traversing the world and doing stuff. And I thought the stories were fun. Anyway, somebody has come along and made a game that is, the more I play it, the more I think it actually supersedes the Wario formula. Yeah. Like they're really good. The game is called Pizza Tower. Came out last year.
Pizza Tower.
Came out in 2023.
I remember this.
Yeah, it's relatively new. It was an indie game last year. We say last year, but it was literally like 6 months ago.
Yeah.
It's in the art style the art style is more like a 90s 16-bit game. Yeah. But the gameplay
looks
itself.
It's like Mad Magazine said, let's make a game.
A little bit, yeah. I'd say that vibe is accurate. It's very goofy, very 90s-esque sort of art. You're this chef, you're a pizza chef, and you're trying to find all these ingredients and do all this stuff. I'm not super far in, so I can't tell you too much about the story, but I can tell you that it captures that WarioWare stuff really, really well, and in a lot of ways outdoes it. It's a very good game. The reviews on Steam are overwhelmingly positive. I think this is also on Switch and PlayStation and Xbox. Yeah. And it's easy to miss it in a year that had so many great games that everybody talked about all the time. So I would recommend grabbing this.
They got merch, and oh my God, I want the merch. There's a Pizza Tower shirt that Brian must have.
You must have it.
Even if I don't play the game, because all of this, like you said, is the strongest 90 vibe I've seen since the freaking 90s.
Oh, big time. Kind of Toe Jam and Earl vibes, that kind of thing. But I can tell you from playing it, it's definitely got its own thing going. It doesn't feel like they're just ripping shit off. And my favorite part about it is just the progression feels really, really good. It's we've all played a million platformers. It's easy to get a little burned out on those. This just takes things back to an old time, but makes it new again, and I'm super impressed with it. So check it out. Pizza Tower on Steam. That's where I played it anyway. Steam Deck perfect. Wonderful on there.
Steam Deck perfect.
Yep. Real good. Good stuff. Brian, what'd you do this week? What'd you grab?
Wait, can I play? Wait a minute.
What?
There's pizzatower.io, and you can play it.
Oh, did this start as one of those?
You can play the pre-alpha. Yeah, look at that. You can play the pre-alpha right in the browser, pizzatower.io. Okay, anyway, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's true. Yeah, it looks like this is their next big... Boy, a lot of people go and do the web thing first and end up having real good success. Like,
yeah. Why
like
not?
this.
It's probably made in Unity anyway, right? So, I mean...
What was the other one, though? The other one that was kind of a big deal here recently. What was it? Shoot. Oh, the one I'm playing. I'm playing this game called Shapes with a Z, and it's originally was like a web thing. You still play it there. Yeah. But it's cool. Welcome to the world.
I miss Newgrounds.
Newgrounds was awesome. Some cool, innovative, cool crap happened there. Boy, this looks great.
So much terrible, but also so much great stuff.
This pizza tower on the web looks fine. Looks awesome.
Looks fine. Little pre-alpha play.
Yeah. All right. That's curious and interesting. What'd you do this week? What'd you get up to?
So I mentioned pre-show, so I mentioned it here real quick. I did order the Analog Pocket. When I ordered it, it said it's had no delivery time other than immediately available. And by the time I actually got it ordered, though, it said it would be here by February. So looking towards that. If you're not familiar with the Analog Pocket, it's a handheld system using FPGA technology. Allows you to play your Game Boy, Game Boy Color, and Game Boy Advance games, and much, much more. And I'll be talking a lot about that in the upcoming months. But I want to talk about TV's Travis, who was doing a little, was out there shopping. You know, TV's Travis. He's great.
He is great. Love that guy.
He is great. So he ran across, he ran across and somebody who was selling a Commodore VIC-20 and right, and a TRS-80. And they won $100, and it had a cassette deck for the VIC-20, and all was supposed to be functional. And I can confirm because I've received it. It is functional.
Oh my gosh!
Yes.
Wow.
So I've been revisiting because it came with the basic book. So I've been revisiting a little bit of the Commodore VIC-20. And I do want to mention,
are you programming something? Are you like making a thing? What are you doing?
I am. Of course I am. I've already done Hello World a million times. So I'm boning up on my basic, and even I don't have the machine with me, I keep a copy of Vice, which is the emulator for the VIC-20, Commodore 64, and I want to say the 128. It allows you to do all kinds of stuff, including saving out files like basic files and just the Commodore 64 compiled files as well.
Let me ask you this: can you make a text-based adventure called Dork? Can you do that?
I absolutely can do that. And man, the response I got this past week, and I started talking about this and doing a little bit of basic stuff, got a huge response. But that was just the follow up to that, because I think we talked about that last week. But yeah, man, you some basic fools out there, man. Yeah. And I love it.
Yeah. The basics among us.
Right. One last thing of retro things before we get to moving.
Go.
I just got this in today. What is this?
I don't know what that is.
The VHS tape. Now it's upside down. It's called Hot News. And the news is spelt with an N64 logo. Yeah. It's the insider's guide to the N64.
Who made this?
Cassette tape.
Who made this?
It looks like it's got Nintendo all over it. So I'm assuming that it's Rare. So Rare is labeled on the back. And look at this. It was distributed by Best Buy, who is anti physical media now. So
look at all those Z's, hot tips, cool cheats, and sneak peeks, all written with Z's. That's amazing.
Yeah, this is some 90 ass shit, because I watched a preview of it before I ordered it, and I was like, yeah, baby, I need that. It's a bunch of 90s nerds waxing radical about the hot news that is the N64, which is running behind me right now with some San Francisco Rush.
Can you can you cap out some of that stuff? You should cap out some video.
I am. That's what I was actually planning on doing. I'm going to capture out some of this stuff, do a little commentary, and probably paste it for our Patron supporters in full, and maybe do a little teaser, toss it out there for everybody to see.
That's great, dude. Yeah. It's called Hot. Let's see, Hot N64
News with the Z. Don't forget to press your AI button or the Microsoft put on there, or your Nintendo button if you have one of those keyboards.
Oh, I found it. There are more than one of these.
Oh, are there? I'm not surprised.
I
got the best one though.
Hot News 64. Yeah, it looks like there are just a couple of them they put out, but
Yeah, I think this is the Best Buy version, whichever. They probably send them to different stores, and you could order them direct too, probably through magazines, if I had to guess.
Yeah, capture that business, dude.
I'm going to capture that business, baby.
Yeah.
We're going to have some people sitting up in the Best. I hope they're in the Best Buy. I hope they're in Best Buy.
Oh, man. Sitting there just
saying
going,
stupid crap.
Remember in the old days.
Yeah.
Remember when we used to give out hot news?
Hot news. And how will you deliver that media? Well, of course, it's coming on VHS.
Yeah, speaking of your physical media. By the way, so if you're not a patron of the show, before we head into this, here's as good a reason as you could ever do it. We had an amazing discussion pre-show about physical media versus digital versus streaming versus like consoles or not, all this kind of conversation. Had a great one today. So if you're a patron, you get that whole pre-show every week when we post it. All right? So get in there.
We was dredging up memories of a podcast called Forecast, which I miss so much. And we were kind of what's the word? Maybe a nice little nod to such a great podcast.
Yeah, I think so too. Mm-hmm. So go check it out. That's up at patreon.com/playretro. And now, our main topic.
Shall we play a game?
Let's talk about an arcade game. It's time for the arcade players to get excited about Play Retro today. All right? It's not some old console game, although there are console versions, and we'll talk about those. But we're going to talk about Spy Hunter. This is an arcade classic. Paved the way for vehicular combat games. Like, I have no doubt about this. I never played anything before it that gave me a car that could run around and shoot stuff or do oil slicks or have smoke bombs come out the back. Nothing else did that. But this game. You know?
This did it. Yeah, because most of the time it was like, hey, let's race a thing, or or single screen like sprint stuff where it's all like, sure, you're trying to battle, but you're not doing it with weapons and upgrades and ooh.
Yeah, no, all that stuff. It's a big whoop. Like this game kind of came out of nowhere when I was a kid, and it drew us all in. We were all in. Everybody was like, that's the best game ever. We're going to the pizza place or wherever we'd play it, the arcade, and we would just dump quarters into this game.
So the first thing you got to ask, because the first thing you got to ask about an arcade game called Spy Hunter that has both a sit down and stand up version. Yep. What was your first experience?
My first experience was a stand up version at a local, probably bowling alley or something.
Right.
If I had to guess correctly. But then later at an arcade, not one of my dad's. We didn't have this game. I think we were out before this hit. Or no, we would have still been in. But anyway,
1983.
83 still would have been. We'd still been in, but for some reason we never had this one. But it was later. I would play it in an arcade and do the sit down thing, and it really is a superior experience. Although either way is great because the steering wheel makes a giant difference. In a game that is kind of simple, really, it's not that different than like a top down shmup kind of. Yes. Except for your driving and you can control speed, but if
you can control speed.
Well, sorta. I mean, there's slow, and then there's like you said in your intro, there's slow, and then there's breakneck. Everybody's gonna die, right?
Right.
And you shift between them to hurry up and get where you want to go, but also slow down because you don't want to die because there's like 4 cars in front of you didn't know were coming.
Yeah, and you can't get into the weapons truck unless you hit it in high gear because it goes at the top speed of low. So if you're behind it, you're just out of luck.
Now, I don't think the arcade version repaired my car in the truck, but some console version did, and I got used to that.
I don't think the arcade version had like car damage. You had when you started, you had unlimited cars for the first 900 click points. It's not seconds.
No.
Like the countdown. There's a countdown timer at the beginning. You have unlimited cars just about until you almost get to the water if you're going any speed at all.
Yeah.
But then you only have a single car, and it doesn't take any damage. You just either explode or you don't. And then as you score it, according to how the switches are set on diff switches, you'll earn more cars.
Right.
Once that timer runs down, though, you've got to depend upon how many lives you have.
And you might hear that and go, wow, that's a generous system for an arcade machine that's trying to get quarters in it. And I would agree, except for the fact that the game is breakneck paced and extremely fidgety, and you're going to die a lot. It's just the way
what did
it
we
is.
decide? It was there was a formula. Is it a minute and a half or something like that? 90 seconds is how long they want you on that system. And so if I had to guess, that countdown timer probably equates to about 90 seconds because you're not going to live much longer because you're dying constantly in Spy Hunter. You're like getting run off the road.
Mhm.
They're spiking your wheels. Something's gonna happen. All you got to do is just put a tire on the side of the road, and boom,
Mhm.
you're dead.
Yeah. And
Brutal.
It's very brutal. And the video that we're watching right now, we've gotten to the part where all you got is a car in reserve. And from then on, it's sort of breakneck, and you're going to die. The console games were just a little bit different. In fact, the NES game, which we'll talk about soon, or not NES, the ColecoVision didn't have a move back and forward function.
No
speed.
low high. It was which I found very playable and very agreeable when we went from arcade ideology, which is take my money, to home console, where it's like, I would like a longer form experience, please. I would like some progression. And that ColecoVision did a pretty good job of making you feel like you were progressing.
Yeah. And there's something about that theme. I'm going to play the music from the first game and some of the intro from it, so you guys can get a taste of what the past was like for us olds. Okay, so this is what we heard in arcades right here. Oh, Peter Gunn coming out of his grave.
Yeah. In my G6 155 Interceptor.
Yep.
And go kill some spies, I'm assuming. And they all have the uniforms for it. They're very Cobra. They all got that blue, right?
Oh yeah.
Very Cobra Commander.
Yeah, it's exactly what it feels like. It feels like you're in a G.I. Joe game. The Peter Gunn theme, as far as I'm concerned, was just as important to me as a spy theme back then as James Bond was. Like I would hear the Peter Gunn theme in any format and go, like, who did it? Was it Art of Noise did a really popular one? I think they did. Yeah, it was Art of Noise. I used to love that track. I would play it on repeat on my tape deck.
Oh, there's a reason why that was very intentional. What George Gomez did, that's the co-creator of Spy Hunter. He was in Japan. He was listening to some James Bond themes. I'm assuming he bought the cassette tape, right, as you would do in 1983. There were two Bonds at the theater, competing Bonds. Only one is canon, by the way. You think it's Never Say Never Again with Sean Connery?
Nope.
It's not. It's Octopussy.
Oh my Lord.
With Roger Moore.
Yeah.
That one's canon. So he was out and about listening to some Bond music, and he said, oh, wouldn't it be cool if this music, which is very important to my emotional feeling right now, was applied into a video game? And that was the spark of what happened to Spy Hunter. And that's the reason why it's so important to this game, having a really good one like Peter Gunn, that Peter Gunn song. They couldn't get the rights to the James Bond stuff, which is fine. I think
I'm glad they didn't. I mean, Peter Gunn. So I've never seen the Peter Gunn show that came out in 1950, whatever it was, 58, 59.
Right. I've seen it before just to be thorough, but yeah, it's fine. It's fine.
I'm sure it's fine. But the theme was a huge hit. It was Henry Mancini, I believe. It's right here.
Mancini's.
Best arrangement. Song has been put into the Grammy Hall of Fame. Like Peter Gunn theme's a big deal. But I just don't know how an arcade game maker gets rights to shit back in 1982. That just seems like a weird thing, you know?
Right. I don't know, because that would have been 30 years. That would have been 30 years before. Maybe it was cheap at the time, but they Midway, secured it for them and put it in the game. And Gomez, one of his things that he wanted to do was the theme song would only really jack up to Spy Hunter levels of bow, bow, when you were equipped with new weapons and when you were carrying weapons. So that was how you knew. It was such an emotional, just music was such an important part to this game. I mean, it is because you remember it, but it's really important emotionally.
I agree. It had this way of going, hey, this game, like how do we put this? Games are often about cues and flourishes that get your dopamine going, right? So if you're playing Hearthstone and a card pops that you wanted, it's very dramatic about how it does it, and it's very visually stimulating. And you're like, sweet, I got a thing. Or if you open a treasure chest, it's there's a huge thing about it. With this, it did it with a few things. It's fun to shoot with a car and
Yeah.
change into a boat and avoid all this stuff and, take down enemies. But there's something about knowing that you got to the part where you needed to, and then this
Yes.
music goes, and there's like an audio thing.
Yeah, and I'm a spy legit. I'm in
Yeah.
my G6 155 Interceptor, and I'm about to take out some of these fools I'm going to be taking out everybody. Let's face it. I got my yoke steering
Mhm.
because it's not a full steering wheel, which thank God, because up until this point, a lot of the race games you would just have the, glorified spinner, and you just go,
Yeah.
and you'd go. But this one had the yoke control with
Mhm.
4 buttons, actually 5 buttons, because it was 4 buttons for weapons and then 1 to call the weapons truck. And then you had your high-low gear and you had a gas pedal. And I really liked sitting down to play it. My first Spy Hunter game was Stand Up Like Yours, Aladdin's Castle.
Yep.
And later on, the first time I saw the sit-down version when I was at Myrtle Beach at the arcade there, and I was like, oh, yeah, this is the stuff here. Get to sit down and really dig in. And I really could play a long time on Spy Hunter at the arcade this past week, playing Spy Hunter through emulation using, modern controllers like the Xbox Series controller and the PlayStation controller. It is a poor excuse
Yeah.
for the amazing yoke with the buttons and the gas pedal. And I wasn't about to break out my steering wheel. I wasn't going to do all that.
You could have done that. It
I
would've worked.
could have, but
Yeah.
that was a level of commitment I wasn't ready for.
You're not-
But man, if you're out in the wild, you see a Spy Hunter game, you're going to be way better than at home.
Yeah, there's one over here at this Nickelcade near us. They have a functioning one there. I think it's a stand-up
Yeah.
though. But the interesting thing about the wheel, you kind of said this earlier, where the other ones we're used to were just spinners. This wheel locked. You'd go so far and it wouldn't go any further. And if you went the other way, it would lock, and you had to kind of keep it real. And there was
Thank
something.
God.
Yeah, there was something kind of intense about that.
Yeah, you had this game has very precise controls. If you, like I said, if you have to be able to, there's a couple of bad guys that the only way you can get rid of them is by ramming them. And then there's others that you don't want to touch at all. And that road is very narrow. And so this is one of the most precise racing games you'll find from this time. And it's really tight, and it doesn't feel slidey at the arcade.
And those armor
It's
guys
just
suck.
bones.
You can't shoot them. You can't penetrate them with bullets. And
You can oil slick them,
you
smoke
can oil
screen 'em.
slick them, and you can use your extra weapons for that stuff. But game gets pretty crazy, and before you know it, you got 4 cars on the road, 2 helicopters in the sky, 2 armored vehicles that are trying to get around you. It gets, and it's still lightning fast, and you're going down like what feels like a 1-lane road.
Yeah.
The game doesn't
Until
want you to keep playing. It wants you to lose
No.
quarters and keep putting quarters in. That's
The
what it
game
wants.
hates you. It is ready for you to leave
Yep.
immediately.
Yep.
It's mad that you're still here.
After its
Go.
ticker counts down, it's like, all right, that's as fun. That's as much freedom as you're going to have, buddy. Get out of here.
Yeah. Now get out of here. We got to get the next quarter in here. Come on. Let's
But
work on it here.
I had friends that were so good at it, they could play for an hour on a single quarter. Like they were
I
really
could
good.
play. I could play for minutes, but I wouldn't say hours. I probably could play maybe 10 minutes. I could cycle through. There's no end to the game. It just goes through the stages: the starting area, then the water area, which you don't always have to take, and then which you can transform into a boat if you go into the boathouse,
Right.
or if you forget, you can run off the bridge. And then there's also the ice area where you actually do start sliding.
Yeah.
And it's a little difficult, but once you get into the
I'll just
groove-
say it now. I hate the ice thing. It's awful. It's really bad. It is there.
It's
It
pretty
is
bad.
designed for me to lose every time.
Yes.
I think that's where I got bunged up every time I played the game. Even now, when I played it this week.
And that's the reason why there's only 3 levels essentially, because that was the idea. It's like no one will make it past this again. What we do after this? Let's just loop it through again. If we don't get them the first time, we'll get them the second time.
I had a thought the other day while I was playing this.
Right.
How cool would this be? Just imagine anything cooler than this. You can't do it. How cool
can't.
would it be if there was an arcade called Play Retro?
Right.
And that arcade was just stacked with all the classics, and we
Classics.
had one guy there who was in charge of just making sure everything ran, and so that's.
Do we know the
taken care
guy's
of.
name?
Let's call him. His name
Larry.
is Larry. Okay, Larry.
Larry. Yeah.
Larry the game mechanic. That's him. And then you and I, we live upstairs and make podcasts all day about retro stuff.
Right.
And we hold tournaments there, and we have people come from all around the country and the world to like have events.
Yes.
I thought about this the other day and thought, I cannot think of a thing I would rather have in this whole life than that. Other
That would
than,
be
you know,
amazing. The only thing that would at least, maybe not enhance it, but maybe if we also had a comic book area.
Oh yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. Like I would want to have like a little, like a small theater that we could do like retro stuff in
Oh,
there.
yes.
I would
Yes.
have, we'd have like you said, kind of a reading area zone for comics and other nerd shit. We just produce all Frog Pants things upstairs, all of it.
Dude, what are we waiting on? All we need is just a little bit more help from our Patreon page.
Yeah, all we need is about $2 million in investment. Anybody want to just throw that at us as if they have no money at all?
Yeah, if we get enough, you get a lifetime pass.
Yeah.
And it'll be great. We'll just that'll be our life.
Yeah, that's us.
This is amazing. And, like,
I
we
can't
often
imagine.
dream like, what would you do if you won the lottery? This is better.
This is what I
This
would do
doesn't-
if I won the lottery, by the way.
Right.
Because that's the only way I'm ever going to be able to do something like this. Somebody
Right.
get me a lottery win.
Forget
that's
the lottery.
outrageous.
There's too much chance. I won't support. Go ahead.
Oh, I'm doing it. If you, let's say it's I don't know, what are lotteries now? You can win smaller ones. Let's say I won a $20 million lottery.
Oh, so you're looking at going to the gas station and crashing a couple of
Or
scratches.
whatever. I don't
Okay.
even care
Right,
how I
right.
get it. But I am taking that money and immediately buying a building somewhere.
Yes.
Downtown Salt Lake, somewhere in South
Oh,
Carolina.
nice.
I don't care wherever,
Right.
where we find the
We'll
right
go.
deal. I'll move for this.
Yes.
And we make the coolest thing you've ever seen. And I would, oh my gosh,
Dude, like getting up every day and then going out to the arcade. What's the first thing you hit in the morning time when you're still sleepy? What are you
Oh
gonna hit?
gosh. That's a great question.
I think I would probably do some. I feel like starting off a little slower. I'd probably start with some Gauntlet, maybe.
Oh, let me think here. Oh, Gauntlet would annoy me. I don't want to hear.
No Gauntlet in the morning.
I don't want to
No
hear the
Gauntlet in the
Valkyrie needs food badly that morning.
Well, that's what I'll be thinking the whole time. Like, oh yeah, when is the food ready yet?
Yeah, 'cause-
Brian needs food badly.
But then this guy talks.
You have found my treasure.
You have found my treasure. I think I'd go with. I'd go a little
Pac-Man's
joust. I'd do
twins.
some joust in the morning. Pac-Man's not bad.
Okay, some joust, little
Yeah.
early morning joust,
And
okay.
maybe even free play a couple of dip switches tweaked version of this. A little bit of Spy Hunter. Why not?
I actually find Spire and be pretty relaxed in the first 900 click seconds or whatever they have
Yeah.
at the top
Yeah.
before it gets real.
Yeah. No, I would do this in a heartbeat. All Frog Panthers would be welcome. You guys could come anytime you want, hang out. We'd make food there. We'd have a little cafe. I'd let my daughter run it. She'd make some amazing
Oh my
rice
God,
bowls.
that would be great.
This is all I want to do. This
What
thing
would
I've
be
just
okay?
said.
So
Somebody
what's
get
our retro themed pizza? What are we gonna make? Some Pac-Man?
yeah.
It's like a full size pizza, but one slice is missing.
Yeah, it's just missing a slice, and it's
only
all
got-
yellow cheese.
It's only got one pepperoni.
Yeah, one
the eye.
pepperoni for the eyes, and then the rest of it's a yellow cheese, and bam,
Yeah.
you get your pack pizzas.
Right.
I mean, I just need a rich friend who wants to invest,
Yeah.
because I
That's all
could
we
make this work, dude, and make
We
it
either
work in
need
spades.
one rich friend or a bunch of poor friends willing to share the dream.
Yeah, because I don't have the cash for this, not even close. All right, and I'm
No.
not taking out some horrible debt-ridden loan that'll destroy me.
No.
But if anybody out there knows anyone where they're like, hey, that sounds awesome, and we'd just like to give the creatives around here, me, Brian, some
Mm-hmm.
others, give us carte blanche on what we want to do. Don't be too fiddly with us. Just give us the money.
Just
right?
give us some money.
Yeah.
And
I'll
we
make it
promise
profitable.
A good time.
I'll make it profitable. We will have a plan to say within 3 years we're making money because we'll have events. We'll find a way.
Oh, we will find a way, and also if we reach high enough sponsorship, we'll have reading at 2:00 before nap time, and we'll do it.
There you go.
What's that Christian Bale, Matthew McConaughey dragon movie?
Hold on. Don't say it. It's called Rain of
All right,
Fire.
I mean-
Rain of Fire.
Rain of Fire.
Yeah.
Every day at 2:00 we'll have our Rain of Fire Star Wars storytelling, where we will recreate Star Wars in a verbal way. We'll tell you the story of Star Wars.
I'm in. I don't know
Yeah.
why people with massive amounts of money don't already make these things. And maybe some do, and they
Right.
just keep them in their basement. No one knows about them. But they're too busy flying to Epstein's Island and trying to get it on with kids.
Way to keep it to today.
Yeah,
That's good- that's a good
like to
plan.
rip things from the headlines for our retro talk.
Right.
Anyway, let's move on to a version of the game that I was surprised how much I liked. Here's some audio from Spy Hunter on the ColecoVision.
Yeah. bad.
You know what? It's not bad. It's okay.
Yeah,
For
it's not bad.
Not even a full 8-bit experience, I don't think, that game.
No.
Or that machine.
And there was a couple of things I learned this past week that I've been solidified over time. And that is, I think ColecoVision has one of the best color palettes of any system during that time.
I agree.
Just
Bright.
fantastic. The NES color palette, I'm not a fan. NES has a great library. They put gameplay first. And the Commodore 64 is amazing. It's got a great sound chip. The palette is all right. But man, I'm telling you, the ColecoVision is right there in their name. It's this bright, bold colors.
Bright, shiny. Yeah, I agree. Also, you immediately kill everything in this game. Like, you come out and you knock off motorcycles, you bump cars into the trees, you shoot stuff. You're not trying to avoid hurting any civilians. You just go. You just go.
This is what I wanted, because I was like, is it absolutely faithful to the arcade? No, it's not a arcade perfect port. What it is, though, is a great home experience of a longer form experience of Spy Hunter. It does the things that you need to do to feel like Spy Hunter without being brutally hard, and allowing you to explore the game fully like you would expect.
I agree. It's a bet. I mean, it sounds weird saying this because the arcade game is the classic, but there is something pretty great about this port.
Yeah, and it's a little bit of a reimagining, but it stays faithful to the original. It just tweaks the difficulty a little bit so that it's enjoyable.
It kind of shocked me, if I'm honest.
Yeah, me too. I played a lot of shit ports this past week.
Yeah.
The Atari 2600. Why even bother?
Yeah, don't play that version. It's so bad, you guys. It's so bad.
It's not good.
No.
The Commodore 64 version, it's fine, but it's not this. The Apple II version is fine, but once again, it's not this. You wouldn't get until like almost 20 years later when they brought the Game Boy color versions along, but that don't count. You can't count those.
No,
ports.
those don't count. I agree. By the way, listen how hard this music goes at the end. Hold on. I mean, they're just like going for it.
Every ounce of power in that ColecoVision. I've never owned a ColecoVision. I've messed around with one before, and it's the one that has that dumb membrane push button, bubble pop 1, 2, 3, 4 through 0 telephone looking controller. I hate that thing.
Like the Intellivision had, very similar to that.
Yeah. So, and you would have, and you know, it's smart. I get it. Look, we only had so many options. They didn't have, it's like, what's the next thing? ColecoVision recognized that we needed, more control buttons. They didn't do a very good implementation, in my opinion. Even though they had like overlays, people were still doing overlays.
We were learning what the frick this was going to be, and they were all little stepping stones. It was really the NES is the first one to really figure it out. That D-pad changed the world. But up till then, it was
sucked
weird.
at Spy Hunter. But yes, the D-pad changed the world. It really it's a good option. Most of the time,
it's never left. I mean, it's still the basis of every controller. Better have a good D-pad on it, or what are you even doing?
Yeah, and we didn't mention the NES version specifically by name, even though it's a good version of Spy Hunter. The port it's a little fast, a little brutal, but the big problem once again is the control set. You've got to remember some of these systems also had steering wheels. I didn't get a chance to look into how those may have functioned. Maybe you know better than I do, and you can let me know. But with the basic controls of Spy Hunter, you got 2 buttons and a D-pad on the NES. And in order to use the weapons, it's a combination of button and D-pad pushing.
Yeah, it sucks. It's not great.
It's not great.
No, I didn't like that one as much either. I think
there may be a 2-controller setup too, but I don't know.
Sure, the wheel sounded good there. Like maybe it would help. But the other thing is the NES version. I will give it this credit. NES not known for feeling like graphics are fast. Yeah, this game feels too fast.
Like it does, and there's no sprite flashing.
No.
Vertical scrolling not something that the NES didn't explore enough, because we all know the right left scrolling, you get screen tearing off the edge, and you get all kind of flashing, but this seemed to work. Wasn't nearly as much flashing on this Spy Hunter.
No, I mean the smoke was basically static, so it would come out looking like just like a stiff pixel thing. And they're really not doing much on the sides of the roads. They're just these quick stones flying by or other objects. But it had the effect of this feeling like the arcade did at the speeds, and the car would also move up and down. It had the kind of speed thing going on.
Yeah.
But I did not enjoy playing it as much as I did the ColecoVision version, which I don't know. I was
Same.
just surprised by that.
Yeah, because once again, it felt like I was at the arcade.
Yeah.
It's like, stop trying to steal my quarters. We're at home. I don't have no quarters.
Yeah, I gave you $50 worth of quarters. Let's go.
Up front.
Yeah,
Can
we're
I get
ready
my
to rock.
now?
Here's the other thing. This thing had weirder music. It's very NES, but here it is. A lot of. Now, one thing I want to point out: when you would kill a truck or a car, it made this sound. Like, it was almost like
such an NES sound.
Yeah, it's just like the most boring, lame.
Yeah, they pulled that right out of the NES library of what do you want to put here?
Yeah,
this noise.
It's not great. this horrible sound. Yeah, but if you could do worse if this is all you had. So congrats, you had the feeling of it. And also, I should say this: the NES version and the Coleco version, as best I could tell, that music runs through the whole game. They don't turn it off. Whereas Spy Hunter in the arcade was all about the truck, and then the music ended. These other two, they were like Peter Gunn theme, wall to wall, front to back. Yeah, let's go.
Yep.
Peter Gunn lives here.
They didn't get it, right? They didn't get what Gomez was going for. By the way, I didn't mention the other co-creator and Tron guy co-creator, Tom Leon. We're going to do Tron eventually.
That's awesome.
We're going to have to do some Tron.
No, dude, I love Tron.
See, right now I'm seeing some screen tearing here at the ocean part.
Yeah, the ocean part's a little teary. I don't know what's going on there.
Part.
Yeah, maybe too much other shit going on. But Tron, Discs of Tron, and the other Tron that was like 5 games in one, we got to do both those.
Yeah.
We should just do Tron, the 2 Tron games in the arcade. We should do that.
Yeah. Yeah, Disc of Tron was my jam. I love that. That would probably be in my our little arcade of arcades.
Oh, hell yeah.
Retro arcade. Yeah.
Well, dude, I got a list in my head now.
Mm-hmm.
Can we do this? There's got to be a way to do it. Isn't there somebody? Find a billionaire. They aren't going to miss $2 million. $2 million. That's change to them. It's nothing to them.
That's like 5 tokens at Aladdin's castle. Come on.
Oh my gosh.
With inflation, it's nothing.
I really want this. It's not going to happen, but I want it. Moving on to this. This is where things get dicey. You would think that with a very successful arcade game, it's 1987, and you're like, you know what? Let's get a new one out there. Let's blow their minds with a follow-up. And I'm going to use some examples here that may not be popular, but like Joust before it, perfect, amazing, all-time great game. Sequel is garbage. It's not that bad, but it's not good.
No. I played it. It is bona fide garbage.
It's pretty bad.
If you see some clips of it, you're like, oh, okay. That couldn't be that bad. Yeah. If you watch some YouTube videos, you're like, whatever.
You mean Joust or this? You're talking about this, right? The Spy Hunter 2. Yeah.
Yeah, Spy Hunter 2 arcade 1987.
No, pure trash. No question there. I'm saying, like, as a comparison, Joust 2's follow-up is very disappointing. Dig Dug 2 is a terrible follow-up to the original Dig Dug. They completely forgot what the point of Dig Dug was and tried to make it something else.
Joust 2 had like at least it had its like own, unique kind of ideas going forward. It wasn't great, but it at least had some unique ideas. This Spy Hunter 2 arcade,
garbage. Terrible game.
Hey, what would happen if we took Doom and it's sprites and it's supposed to be like a third person view kind of thing and follow behind cam, and it is just,
it's not even a full screen. I mean, you can do multiplayer if you want, but
it's bad.
Look at this. This is a screen from it, chat. You guys can see it. Here's some sound from it. I mean, that makes you want to die. There's no Peter Gunn theme in this that I can hear over the damn fire, the shooting sounds and everything. I don't know. But there's this lady in the... Now you get a view inside the truck where the lady puts your parts in. And then she leaves.
Your lady puts your parts in.
Yeah.
Do you remember those old analog desktop racing games, like real ones with like the band that like rolled through? You know what I'm talking about? Like you would the little steering wheel and the little rolling. What do you call those things?
I don't know what those are called, but I know what you mean. It's like that.
Yeah. So it was like that. That's how this feels. It feels like you just got a little car on a stick. And you're just moving over top of a track
of a rolling fake track. It really does feel like that. That's interesting because I was racking my brain about what does this remind me of. It doesn't feel good like eraser of that era, 87, that would have been like Road Blaster.
Yeah, Road Blaster.
I love that game. We got to do that one day.
Yeah.
But this is just a very bad game. It's not a good arcade game, and I was excited in 87 to play it. I would have been 16 years old and stoked.
Yes.
Didn't work out.
It didn't work out at all.
No.
Nice shooting
Don't bother.
ticks.
Yeah, don't bother with it, guys. I mean, it even has, like, your first impression is like, oh, look what they did. It's like almost 3D, and there's like way more. And then you play it, and you go, no, that's the worst quarter I ever spent. Yeah, look at that.
And if you're looking for Spy Hunter, this, by the way, is Spy Space Hunter Space Roman numeral 2.
Right.
Yeah, because there's some other sequels later on that use the number 2 that is actually okay.
Yeah, those are fine. I mean, the PlayStation 2 stuff, which we'll talk about in a second, they were fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, these are your old ass games, and I'm just gonna say it. If you're sitting me down and saying, Scott, what do you want to spend the most time with? My big shock this week is that ColecoVision is the one that held me.
Good. It's good. I want to go back and play more of. I didn't do it. We didn't talk about it. The Super Spy Hunter from 1992, the NES version. It was the sequel to Spy Hunter for the NES. It was really just a reskin and a rebrand of another game that was already released in Japan. But you want to talk about embracing the shmup? This is what it did. It's still a vertical racer.
Yeah.
Use some mode 7 so that the backgrounds was all kind of looked like you were actually rotating. It was really interesting looking. And instead of pulling it to the back of the trucks, you would shoot it and shoot the truck until it exploded, and then it would leave a power up, and you would pick up the power up. And like I said, it's pretty much just a shmup on wheels, and it's amazing. You can even adjust which direction the guns are in, so you can like be shooting in front of you, on the side, and behind you. There's bosses that you fight. It's kind of a unique take. Super Spy Hunter for the NES. If I was going to get a Spy Hunter game for the NES, this would be the one, even though it's not really a Spy Hunter game.
Yeah, not technically, but it's still pretty neat. I agree.
It still is.
I didn't play this one this week. I should check this out.
This is pretty fun. It's pretty fun. Just be aware that, like you probably just saw, they shot the truck. You have your little floaty power up. You pick that up. The road is nice and wide. You got plenty of room to move. You don't die as much. It's not nearly as brutal.
It's more of so this is more of what I would have expected from a follow-up, like the arcade machine. This feels like a natural progression for what Spy Hunter was, and it's too bad that it has the legacy it does in the arcade.
Yeah,
that second one. Well, anyway, that's Spy Hunter. It's rad, and you should all go play it. We will mention here real quickly, though, Spy Hunter 2001, the PlayStation 2 game, was a big deal at the time. That was the commercial you heard at the top of the show. Yeah, because they didn't have commercials for this old stuff.
Is that the one with The Rock or the other one?
I think this is the one with The Rock. I think, or was 2 like the PlayStation 2 number 2 sequel? Yeah, might have been the one with The Rock in it.
The new Spy Hunter got rid of the space, so a Spy Hunter is like a proper word. Yeah. And then the 2 after it. But this is pretty good, and we'll probably end up doing a show on that part of the legacy of Spy Hunter in the future, but
it's hard to do it all in one, but it's a really interesting coming back to the series. What I'm surprised about to this minute is that there has not been a modern PS4, Xbox One through now generations Spy Hunter revival of some sort, because you could go full story and actors and GTA this shit, Like it's the same thing. It's
going to be, after this episode, is going to be a clamoring for a new one. So I mean,
yeah, maybe we did it. Maybe we brought it all to fruition. But the thing is, like what's I going to say? Like they're doing with Crazy Taxi. I've said forever, you want to make a new Crazy Taxi, you got my money, and they're doing that now.
Guess what?
Do this. Make a new Spy Hunter. Go crazy with it. It would be amazing. Don't just be simple arcade.
Yeah, put the arcade back in my racers.
Yeah,
there's so many great kind of realistic racing games. I'd like to get back to a little bit of arcade racing. There is a few games.
Oh, there's plenty. Like Horizon 5, which you play a lot with your community. That game is very good at bridging the gap.
Yes.
Whereas regular Forza is definitely for a certain kind of person, but not me. I don't want ultra Gran Turismo style simulation with cars. I'd never have. But give me some rocket launchers and some, pedestrians to run over or whatever. I'm in. Let's do it.
Milk that Peter Gunn track all you want in that freaking cool ass Spy Hunter font. Milk the crap out of it, man. Because we've got Agent Interceptor on Steam from a few years back.
It's good, by the way.
It's just like a spiritual successor to Spy Hunter 2021. It's an amazing, fun game, very arcadey and very Spy Huntery. Even transforming into a boat, doing water parts.
Oh yeah, it is. It is 100% feeding off the love of that game, and they do a really great job at the cinematics. They treat it like almost like a '60s spy thriller. Yes. So the story is very goofball. You do turn into a boat like you do in Spy Hunter. The perspective's a little odd. Also, their launch plan with this game was weird because it initially was on Apple Arcades where it launched, and later came to Steam and Switch and some other stuff. I don't think that did it any favors. People have a weird feeling about mobile stuff.
Yeah, you just brought a mobile game to I'm not paying for a mobile game.
Yeah, but I think it's really good. I have this on Steam and it's a blast.
Yeah,
absolutely worth playing. They capture the feeling of that and did so with style. So if you've not played it, maybe consider it. Brian, what are you holding? What do you got there? What is that?
This is the Midway arcade treasures that I've mentioned in the past when we did Defender and Joust, and it's a great collection. And another reason why you want to make sure that you hold on to some physical media. This is the PlayStation 2 version, and I played Spy Hunter a good bit on this. Even though the PS2 controller has a lot of buttons, they do not allow you in this version to remap the buttons, and so it was very difficult doing my gear shifting. I understand why they did it, but it was probably the best experience I had emulating this with a controller. But it was not really emulation though, is it? It's the real deal.
It's the real deal.
I did it on my PlayStation 2 Slim, and I loaded this disc up and I had a lot of fun. I also have the PlayStation original version as well for the PS1. I did not try it, but I figured it'd probably be close to the same experience.
Yeah, probably. I would presume.
Right. So graphics not as good.
No, that's awesome though. You always have the cool physical shit. Mine's all digital these days.
I gotta have the physical.
Get physical.
That's what my doctor tells me.
That's what he's right. My doctor is also right about that, and I'm terrible at it. Anyway, there's that. Let's dive into a little game this week called Guess Our Game.
Destroy it.
We have a couple of games here lined up that are audio form. We have to try to guess what each other brought to the table. We have a number of criteria to mention and 3 guesses each, or not 3 guesses, 3 questions each, although they kind of are guesses, to try to get it. And this week, I'm going to start with mine. This is a Super Nintendo Entertainment System cartridge. Okay? So it came out for that thing.
Okay.
1992 is your year.
1992. I was just barely out of high school. I was in college.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. I was in college and I got married that fall. So it was a big year for me.
Oh. Well, la-di-da.
Let's say the genre is the creative genre. I don't know what else to call it. You know what? I'll add to that. Puzzle. I'll say creative, puzzle.
Okay, no, that's good. Let's leave it at that for now.
Okay, Nintendo published it.
Okay,
so that's all I'm telling you.
Okay, so Super Nintendo Entertainment System, 1992, the creative genre, and it was for the Nintendo.
That's right, and published by Nintendo. Here is your clip. Pretty great intro.
Hey, so right away I gotta ask.
Yeah.
Is this a Mario?
It's Mario related.
Okay.
That's fair. Right. That's a fair point. That music at the beginning is probably kind of a giveaway for that. Here's some more audio from the game. See if this helps. This is actually pretty obvious. Oh, that almost sounded like something.
Oh, what did it do?
Here, I'll play it again. Okay, one more. Hear this part.
All right. Okay, so I think the creative may give too much away for it. What did you have? Could you or did it come with accessories? This game.
Oh, that's a really good question. I think it did. I say that not knowing 100% sure, but my memory was there was a peripheral for this if you wanted
Right,
it.
right.
You didn't need
It
it.
seems like I remember there being a peripheral too, because I never owned this, but I see it all the time. If it's what I think it is, and I'm always like, oh, do I need to buy that? What if does it have other stuff I need with it? I always need to check.
I'm going to look it up to see to make sure. I believe it did.
Right.
Let's see. Oh. Let's see. I will say it was one of the best-selling SNES games of all time for the console.
Right.
If that helps.
Okay, well that may be giving me too much information. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and stop putting around the putting it off. I'm gonna go ahead and take my guess here, and I'm gonna go with Mario Paint.
Let's see if you're correct about that. You are correct. It is Mario
Yes.
Paint. Nicely done. Yeah, Mario Paint's a hard one to classify, so the creative was probably a little bit of a giveaway.
Probably may have given away too much. Immediately when I saw creative, I'm like, well, there's only one that I can think of.
Yeah, and so there was like a mouse and a pad and some kind of
I was thinking there was, but I didn't necessarily come with it. I think you could still use the controller.
Correct.
But yeah, I think
I had this game and I used the controller is how I did it.
Yeah.
So, that game's weird. That's a weird game.
I like it.
It's
You're making me want to get it and play it because I never properly did that.
And there are people to this day who make weird music out of it.
Ooh, we should have do you have a Super Nintendo Entertainment System?
I have
Scott?
an old broken one that doesn't work at
I have
all.
a broken one. We could still emulate it though. I bet we could emulate it and we could have a draw challenge on Super Mario Paint.
I would do that in a heartbeat. Check this out. I'll give you an example. Mario Paint. What's a song people know? What's the song Big Shot? Who's that?
Oh.
I don't want that. How about Take On Me? Here you go. We know that song.
Oh.
Let's try this one. Wait, why isn't it playing? Hold on, everyone.
So people are using this application.
Yeah, they're using... Because there was a whole music maker in it.
Right. I didn't know that. Oh, wow. That is amazing.
Yeah, you basically just had sheets of notes, and then you would put the icons at where the notes would hit. It's actually a pretty cool, like 4-4-3-4 kind of learning tool for music for kids. Anyway,
I did not know that.
Yeah,
now I definitely want it.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. If I could see you getting it, I could see you doing it.
I bet you it's pretty inexpensive too, because I've seen this thing all the time.
Yeah.
Every time I go somewhere, I'm like, oh, the only thing I see more of are sports games.
Yeah.
Everywhere I go, it's like, oh,
so many sports games. My gosh, hundreds, millions of them. This reminds me in our place that I can never afford that we're going to build. We'll have an entire room that is just like the console room. In fact, we'll call it the console cafe, and it's a place you can order food and eat, but every table's got like a built-in Genesis or Super Nintendo or something, and you just grab controllers and play while you're out there eating and stuff. We wipe down the controllers, that kind of thing.
Well, no, we don't wipe down the controllers. You wipe them down yourself. There's a sign that says, please wipe down the controllers after you're through.
Yeah, exactly.
And don't pee in our pool. We don't poop in your cereal.
How's that go? That's exactly right. That's the old phrase.
Yeah.
Nicely done.
Yeah. That's the sign you put up at your pool. I sent you in Discord. I sent you someone who is selling the whole set with the mouse and the pad. And oh my God, does that look delicious?
Oh,
and
look at
that.
Yeah.
It's definitely not going to go for $26. There's been 4 bids on it and ends in 3 hours. No way does the Salvation Army in Austin, Texas take any less than $100.
You think it'd be $100 by the time this is done?
What should I bid on it right now? What should I put in there?
Well, see, the thing is, you don't want to get too high because then people see that and go, "Whoa,
I'm going 27. I'm just going the next level up. Another bidder is winning immediately.
Okay, then I'm going to go in and do 28. Just kidding.
All right, go ahead. I'm going to do 33. I'm going to do 33 just to see if I'm. Nope. Boom. Just like that. Another bidder is winning immediately.
Yeah, it's getting sniped.
It's gonna keep cranking up there.
It's all here though.
Free Ranger says bid 50. I'll put 50 on it. I'll put 50 right here. Let's all get into my eBay
bidding
addiction.
Let's do it. Let's see what happens.
50. Let's see. Oh, I'll put me in the lead.
Are you in the lead?
Listen,
Okay.
yeah, I'm in the lead, which puts it at $61 shipped.
Let me refresh it. It's
My
not
max
showing it.
bid, $50.01. Just to, just encourage, there we
It
go.
says right now 36. It doesn't show yours yet. Let's
Well,
see.
that's because no one else has bidded. Once
Oh.
I've put a maximum bid. My maximum bid is the top. I've out everybody else's max bid. And now I had the highest max bid. And so until someone goes higher than 36 or over the $50.01 that I just put in.
That's tempting, dude.
Scott Fletcher says, I'll sponsor you for $75. Got to do a show in it, though. I'm down.
Yeah. Look at that. That's because Scott Fletcher's a good man.
He's a great man.
Yeah, he drives quality and content purity. That's what he does.
He does. And I missed another night he was streaming. He's been on Twitch a lot lately.
Oh, has he?
Shout out
I
to
should
our
be getting on
friend,
there, checking that out.
Mr.
Yeah.
Scott Fletcher.
What's he doing on
Absolutely.
there? Is he playing something?
No, every time I tune in is something amazing. It's like the most random stuff. I think he was working on a printer the last time I saw him. And then I think he was working on, I can't remember. He's at his workbench a lot, I think. And I could be totally wrong, Scott. You'll have to correct me, but that was the last thing I saw.
This year in Vegas, I'm going to do like he did and try to figure out how to maintain about 20 milligrams of THC for the whole 3 days. I'm going to do that. I'm just going to have edibles at the handle. As soon as I start wearing off, eat another one, just kind of keep it nice and right and even there.
Right there, baby.
Let's see what we can do. All right, here's your platform and noise to play. Tell me some of the stats here. What am I up for on your game?
Oh, okay. So here's my guess, my game. While we wait for somebody to outbid me, mine is a PS1 game from 1997.
Yeah.
It is a combat flight simulator published by Fox Interactive. And I was thinking about this. I like that you did publisher and not developer because that is not always the same person.
That's
and
true.
So this is the publisher, not the developer.
Yeah, that is true.
In this case.
All right, let's find out by pushing a button to play it. Here we go.
Alien destroyer is going to make it tough to track a bandit, so look. Entering contact on multiple pins.
Okay, this is some kind of jet plane thing.
It is a jet plane thing. That is correct.
Is this the original Fox Interactive? Well, that would not be it then. What I'm thinking, because that's
right.
Japanese.
That was really good. Yeah.
Fox Interactive.
And if you had asked me the developer, it would have been a totally different thing. You would not even thought about this, but the publisher.
Fox Interactive.
Yes.
97.
1997 in North America.
Okay. Is this okay? My first question.
Yes.
Is this a Top Gun game?
It is not.
Okay.
But the fact that you thought of Fox Interactive and thought of a movie, you're on the right track.
Am I now? 97. Oh, is this some of that sounded a little spacey at the end there, so I'm going to say, is this Independence Day?
Scott Johnson, give yourself a win.
Did I get it?
Independence Day for the PlayStation also came out on the Sega Saturn and looks kind of sexy on the Saturn and Microsoft Windows.
You know where you got me was
what's that?
That I was on the right track with the movie thing, because I was thinking, well, let's see, 96 would have been 94.
That's right.
And then wait, yeah, in
You're
96.
right. Correct.
So the next year, them having a game based on it makes sense. And then at the end there, it sounded like they were pew, 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 like less than
Pew, pew,
bullets.
pew, exactly. And you can hear, if you listen really close, you can hear Will Smith punching an alien and then uploading a virus to the alien computer.
Fantastic. Jeff Goldblum going.
You got to listen really close.
Goldblum's like, we want to take down this entire alien armada. We got to use my Mac Pro book, whatever it was, Power Book 7.
Power Book.
Yeah, OS 7. That'll be it.
I need Independence Day on Laserdisc. That's
amazing.
I said it.
No, you don't.
I do need Independence Day. I loved, dude, when Independence Day came out,
I don't love that
I
movie.
bought the toys. I bought all the this is before the movie even came out. I was like, what is this crap? I can't wait to see this.
I waited in line, midnight showing, opening
Yes.
night with a bunch of friends.
Dude.
And it was
And
fun, but the
I
movie let me down.
loved it.
Movie let me down.
Movie did not disappoint me until years later. At that moment in time, I freaking loved it.
Yeah.
It was the right movie at the right time, doing all the stupidest shit that was just amazing. Now the game, I've heard, is absolute crap show. I want to play it. I've heard that the
Should play it.
Independence Day, it's supposed to be crap. It's supposed to be an absolute crap show. I want to play it.
What's the jet series, the fighter series in the air?
Combat
Ace
Combat?
Ace Combat.
Ace Combat. Yeah.
The newest one of that, Ace Combat 7, I think, is still the latest.
It's
That is
so
a
good.
awesome game. Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah.
The story
Yeah.
is ridiculous, which is part of what makes
Well,
it so great.
That's what makes it amazing.
It's anime as hell. It feels like Top Gun while you're playing it, but then you realize, who am I fighting? What alien is this? Like, why? It's ridiculous. It's so over the top, but I love it.
That's my favorite.
All right. Well, we both won this week. Wow. That's fantastic.
Yeah, we did.
When's
Good
the last
job.
When's the last time we did that? It's been a
I
minute.
can't think of the last time we did that. We've both lost at the same time, but I don't think we've ever won at the same time. It's been a long time.
I'm impressed with our fine work.
I am too. The tweaking we did that you did to the competition for the 2024, I think, has made an improvement.
Excellent.
Welcome to the treasure.
I pushed the wrong
I'm
button.
deafened.
I can't hear anymore. Let me tell you what this is. This is listener feedback time, and we got a big old email from people. Now, you can still text us and leave us voicemails, or text us only, whatever you want, at 801-471-0462. But you can also email us at playretroshow@gmail.com. And I got a big one here from Andy. He says, hello,
Andy.
hello, gentle nerds.
Oh, hi.
I like that.
I do too.
My name is Andy from Scranton, Pennsylvania. Never actually watched
What?
The Office, he says. Yeah.
Oh, really? That's hilarious. I've been watching The Office the last couple of days, and so I've got the Andy on my head. Interesting.
Andy in the mind. Says,
Yeah.
I recently finished listening to every episode of Play Retro, and I have a couple of
Wow.
notes. Says, first of all, I love the show as someone who is only in their 30s with limited retro gaming experience. It's nice to hear about all the different games I missed out on. My greatest memory is secretly staying up late to play Mega Man X on the Super Nintendo. My first actual note to you guys is in regards to Scott's opinion on Kirby in Smash Ultimate.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, turns out it's
Counterpoint?
controversial. Yeah. Says,
Okay.
I follow the competitive scene in Ultimate, and I'd hate to disappoint, but Kirby is actually regarded as a low-tier fighter in the community. But did that change recently, though? Or am I thinking the GameCube game?
I think the important word here is competitive, because Scott doesn't play competitively unless you consider it in his living room, in which case Kirby is awesome.
He's still awesome no matter what. But I've watched a bunch of tournament play, and I swear Kirby has been on the top tier, and I don't know why I thought that, if it hasn't ever
Right.
been true. Maybe I am thinking of the GameCube game where he did kind of dominate, or maybe I have that wrong. I don't know. You'll have to tell me. It says Kirby is actually regarded as a low-tier fighter in the community. Only one notable player from Japan has ever successfully played him on a competitive level.
The
My second,
best level.
yeah, the best level. My second note is you guys might be a little, second note to you guys might be a little throwback to you when you discuss Dance Dance Revolution very briefly at the top of the show on one of your episodes. This is around the time of a TMS/Frog Pants meetup in the South where Brian brought a lot of his retro equipment. That would have been last year in North Carolina.
Got it sitting right here. I played it not too long ago.
That's true. It says, including some DDR stuff and a mid to high level casual player myself, I'm pretty sad. It's essentially a dead game in terms of new releases. However, it is very much alive when you consider the online community. That's true. Yeah, I'm not saying rhythm games are about to have a major resurgence, but I think it could be time for a little bit of dip back into there.
We need to get our butts up and move, dance. And I can confirm I love my Dance Dance Revolution that I picked up on the PlayStation 2. I've got a couple of pads, the Konami pads. I do the Konami cheat code on it. I'm just kidding. But it is it is freaking amazing. Great workout. But they are plastic pads, so they're not like, it's kind of the same thing like when you used to play them at the arcades. They had the metals pads where they were very durable and you could really bounce on them. The slidey mats are a poor man's excuse.
They're not great
for doing it at home. Yeah,
no,
it's all right.
They're not great, but I mean,
Get your smartphone.
now that Microsoft owns Activision, it's possible we get Guitar Hero back. That could be cool.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Also, what was that other hero game with the DJ Hero? That was fun.
Oh, yes. I have a DJ Hero for my PS3, and I've been meaning to get it out and be just that, a DJ Hero.
That was a cool thing. It was rad.
Yeah.
I wasn't good at it, but it was cool.
Now, Andy continued on.
Yes, he did. He says this, blah, blah, blah. Many people play Step Mania, where you can go download community-made charts and various difficulties. Think of Clone Hero, the online version of Guitar Hero. If you want to have the feel of playing in an arcade at home, I recommend the LTEK DDR pads. So those are the ones you're going to look up. Yeah.
I looked at them,
Are
and
they cool?
they're a lot more.
Are they
they're
metal?
A lot more.
They're metal,
They're
man.
they're a lot more for sure, price wise.
Oh.
Like $3.99, but man, to have something that actually is durable,
Yeah.
and you're not gonna like pinch and slide around and stuff. I'm down with this.
That's cool. You should get it and then review it on the show.
Yeah,
Go
that would
spinny.
be right after I win this. But yeah, I don't know if it's metal, but it looks like hard. It's either hard plastic or maybe it's some kind of combination of something. But anyway, it's a lot more hard, and it's not going to slide around like other things. So
Yeah,
I'm pretty excited about
when
this.
the companies who own these IPs don't step forward and make new stuff, then the community usually steps up and does it. So
Yeah,
that's how this stuff works.
which is the way it should be.
He says they are pricey but very solid options, and without buying a full arcade cabinet. I bought one myself last year, and I'm able to play difficult songs I could normally play on a natural metal arcade pad. My final note is more of a question. Have you guys heard of the Angry Video Game Nerd on YouTube? I have. I don't watch him, but I've heard of him. It is.
I've watched him, and I've watched tons of his stuff in the past.
It's also a lot of them. He has collaborators and stuff.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Says it's on the Cinema Score channel, Cinema Massacre channel. I don't know why I said
Yes.
Cinema Score.
Cinemassacre, yeah. Right.
Where James Rolfe plays a character who plays and reviews. It's very commonly said words like "shitty games," unquote. Some of my
If you've
favorite.
never
Yeah.
seen the Angry Video Game Nerd, it's a lot of fun. But it's a lot of the same stuff, and it's an act. But it's great. It's a great act. It's a great gig. I love it.
Yeah, he's done well for himself.
Yeah.
We could be an angry nerd. You want to do that? You want to be angry?
Yeah, I love it. But I one thing that me and Scott do, I think, is we don't want to be disingenuously angry, even though his is more performative, which is great and works for him. We're not really necessarily performers.
No.
We're more like, here's our take. This is what we experienced.
Yeah,
So
we
it's
want to be
different.
informative, fun. We want you to laugh a little. We want you to have a good time, have a positive experience. But I'm not here to play a character. I can never.
But
do
the
that.
character is amazing. It's a great character. I love the character he's designed over there. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah. Now, if you give us $2 million for our awesome arcade building,
I'll do
I'll
whatever,
do whatever
you
you
like.
want. OnlyFans, whatever.
I'll be the happy video game nerd. I don't care. I'll do whatever.
Yep.
I'll dance.
Yep.
I'll be any kind of video game nerd you want. You want me to be the flatulent video game nerd? I'm down. $2 million sold.
Mm-hmm. I'll play Joust shirtless, which nobody wants.
Oh my God.
I don't want it. You don't want
Everybody
it. Trust
wants
me.
it.
No. I never look. I've lived an entire lifetime of never looking right shirtless, so I'm not. This is a real threat.
How many nipples do you have, Scott?
All I'm saying is when I was growing up, I was too skinny, and now that I'm older,
Right.
I'm freaking too fat. It just I never found
So
a happy medium.
there was never a moment it went from
No.
too skinny to too immediately. It was like blunk. Woke up one morning and just
Well, my wife
Bonk.
would tell you that I have body dysmorphia, and she's probably
Yeah,
right. But
we both do.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's
we
fine.
both do.
I'm sure that in somebody else's eyes, a shirtless Scott Johnson is really something to behold.
It's the best.
Yeah, to someone.
You're beautiful. You're beautiful, Scott. We're all beautiful. You just gotta get comfortable with it.
That's right.
It's fine.
And
The human body is a beautiful thing.
I'm running out of time. He finishes by saying, "Love the show. Keep up doing what you're doing." Well, Andy, we sure will, and we appreciate
great,
all your
Andy.
thoughts, man. Thanks so much for writing into the show. Now, I'm very excited to announce something.
Informed.
We are going to talk about the largest game physically and like territorially speaking that Bethesda has ever developed. And you
Yes.
might say, is that Skyrim? Is that some other thing? No, it is Daggerfall. And Elder Scrolls 2 Daggerfall is old. It's a long time ago now.
Yes.
But what is cool about Daggerfall is that if you took Skyrim and placed it in the middle of Daggerfall, it's like this tiny little stamp-sized thing in a giant space that is nothing. It would make, I don't know, 100,000 Skyrims. Did I say Skyfall? I meant Skyrim.
Yeah, I don't know. I heard Skyrims regardless of what you said.
You could take 100,000 Skyrims or whatever the number is, and they would still not totally fill the Daggerfall screen. There's so much space in there. And it was really a revelation at the time. Also, there's some good news about it. There's a way for free, in fact, to get Daggerfall 2 with a brand new mod that someone's been working on for 10 years. What's it called? Oh, it's a Unity conversion.
Yes.
And they have some graphical updates, some other stuff. And it recreates the experience really, really well. Kotaku and a few other outlets are raving about this.
Yes.
So here's what you have to do.
You can get Elder Scrolls 2 Daggerfall for free on Steam.
Yeah, Steam is where you can get it for free, and then do it. And then you got to download this other thing, which is also free.
Yes.
And it will make it awesome 27 years
It'll
later.
make it awesome. So I'm going to play, over this next week, I'm going to play Daggerfall original flavored.
Yep.
And then I'm going to try some of this new stuff. Now, I'm not going to get very far. This is going to be some first impressions, but we're going to be doing the Elder Scrolls 2 Daggerfall next week. I'm pretty excited.
Very excited. I'm excited just to play that game again. I loved that thing back then. Oh my gosh. Such a great
Never
game.
played it. So I once again, I love discovering all these new games. Every week when we do this show, it continues to remind me that I have a limited amount of gaming time in my life. And no matter how hard I tried to play video games back in the day, I could only get, so many games in a year, 3-4 games. But then there's hundreds of games that come out every year. And it's like, of course I've missed so much.
Yeah.
Of course I have.
And by the way, so I just put it up for the people to see at home. The entire map is Daggerfall. That's a zone in that world, Tamriel. If you look at this little teeny little stamp out in the ocean, that's Skyrim in comparison.
That's Skyrim.
And Skyrim's a massive game.
Yeah, yeah.
So I just don't think people, I mean, and you might say, well, wait, why aren't they still doing that then? Because this thing was a lot of sprites and 2D shit, okay? Yeah. There's some 3D elements, but it's mostly just like you didn't have the problems that get presented when you go full 3D, full detailed world. All that changes everything. It's a one-of-a-kind thing, because right after this you got, not right after, but after this you got Morrowind, Elder Scrolls 4. No, that 4 was, sorry, that would have been 3. Elder Scrolls 3. And while it was really well received and really put Bethesda on the track they're on now, it was so small in comparison to 2. So those days would be very brief. And when it happened, it was glorious. So we're going to talk about it. We're going to go deep.
Deep.
Are you
so
ready?
Deep.
Are you
Put
ready
your
to go
butt
deep?
sleep.
That's right. If you want your butt asleep or awake, it doesn't matter. Be here next week when we do this thing. All right. And I look forward to it.
And
greatly.
I'll give you an update on whether or not I won some Mario Paint.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Where are we at now? Any change to the bidding? It's the same?
Let's see what the current price is. The current price is, refresh. We are still at $36 with 2 hours and 44 minutes to go.
Okay.
We'll find out soon
Yeah.
if we've secured the thing. Probably not. Somebody's going to snipe me at the last second. You know how it goes.
Yeah. You're going to get sniped. You can
gonna
just
get
count
sniped.
on that. Anyway, that's going to do it for today's show. Thank you all for listening. I want to thank some new patrons who joined us this week. Mick Smith, Derek Van Dusen, and Wabbit Magic. You guys are awesome. I may have mentioned 2 of you last week, but I couldn't remember. So they're there again if they are.
So we just say it again. What does it hurt? Does
We
it
don't
hurt
care.
at all?
We're happy to name your names twice. It's fine.
3 times.
They joined us at patreon.com/playretro, where honestly, you guys could be responsible for the funniest thing ever. You could all go over there and somehow get us enough income that we could get this freaking arcade. It had to be crazy amounts of pledges. It's an insanity thing that probably never going to happen, but it would be the place to do it. If somehow one of you, a great patron of the art, somebody who's like, I got $2 billion in the bank, I'm going to die one day and none of this is going to carry with me. Why not
There's
just
0.001% of my wealth.
Right. What else are you going to do with it? Okay?
What else are you going to do?
Wipe your bum? So come do it. Get over there.
Crazy.
That's at frogpants.com/playretro is where you can get that and all the bonus stuff without an ad ever. Okay? So come be a part of the bigger family over at patreon.com/playretro. And next week, we'll be back with this brand new episode, frogpants.com/playretro. In the meantime, if you're looking for stuff, and check our streams and stuff all week. Brian's playing stuff. I'm playing stuff. We got links to all that there as well. That's going to do it for us. Go play something retro.
No, you.
And I'll see you next week.
Get more at frogpants.com.
Oh, jeez.
Bum, 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 bum.
That
Thanks,
was-
NES.